What's going on, guys? JPP Duel here. Hope you guys are enjoying your Friday. And for today's matchup, we have Adventure Springs versus a Phantom Knights, with my opponent playing Phantom Knights going first. Now, before the gameplay even begins, I would like to take a moment to apologize for not being able to stream or upload a YouTube video yesterday. It was because I do live in Florida and my area got hit with the hurricane and the after effects of the hurricane pretty badly. Thankfully, there was no major property damage and health wise, we're all doing fine. So, thank you guys for asking that if you do want to ask about it. Also, for any of my viewers who are living on the South Carolina side where the hurricane is heading towards, I hope you guys are doing well as well and hopefully nothing bad happens to you guys as well. So, let's get on with today's video. My opponent starts off his turn by activating the Enchantress, getting the right in his hand. He's going to activate right, to which we're obviously going to chain our Maxi because he is trying to special out a monster on the field. Now usually when I am playing the game, I don't know about you guys, do let me know in the comment section below. If you ever Maxi your opponent or Ash Blossom your opponent on a crucial part of their combo, they usually never ever resolve. Maxi or Ash resolving is such a huge thing. Now against a combo deck, Maxi resolving means if they cannot put floodgates or 3 or more Omnis on the field, they will never ever take the Maxi challenge going first in turn 1 unless they could FTK you that turn itself. But let's be honest, what are the chances they can FTK you if they're not running an FTK deck? So this guy does not take the Maxi challenge. The Maxi resolves, immediately negating my opponent's whole turn. This guy had a lot of gas in his hand. He threw away a Torn Scales in the graveyard off of the pitch from the search for the Griffin as well. So this guy would have done a full combo on me if my Maxi had not resolved right here. Maxi, such a balanced card, right? Am I right? So anyways, my opponent ends his turn, we draw into a nib, and I start going into my combo. Now we do have a crossout in our hand. That's the only negate card we had in our hand. So I had to use this crossout in case my opponent uses his Griffin on my first graveyard activation. Now keep in mind, he still had 2 more cards in his hand. He still had a face down set on the field as well. So if this card turned out to be Called by the Grave, we're done. Our turn's done. We cannot do anything about it. So I go into my Meowmoo. We activate our Lamps in the graveyard, special other card in the field. So it turns out he had no Maxi, no Ash Blossom, no Call by the Grave, and he did not want to use Griffin right there on my first graveyard activation, which he obviously should have. So this just shows the gap my opponent has in his understanding of Prank Kids. So against Prank Kids, guys, always you want to negate the first graveyard activation if you can. This guy did not utilize it, so we're good to go. We're going into our combo. We go into our Doodle-Doo, chain block with our Doodle-Doo, to which he responds with his Griffin activation. Now this Griffin does destroy a card. Griffin is a negation plus a card destruction. So I do not want my Doodle-Doo to get destroyed, nor do I want my Doodle-Doo to get negated, the search off. So we use our crossout designator and we banish a Griffin from our deck. That way the Griffin on the field gets negated as well. Now this turns out to be an extremely good play for us because if you guys look at the hand currently that I have, we have a copy of Corridor in our hand. Now let's say I only had a bunch of hand traps that I absolutely do not want to get rid of, or I only had a Corridor plus another card in my hand that I could not get rid of, or only had Corridor in my hand. That means I cannot go through Roxy's. If any of those situations do occur, and maybe you do not want to go through the Roxy's banish plus a draw, you could still trigger the Corridor off of the banishment from the crossout designator. So this can actually become a play. Keep in mind, if you do not start with a combo starter card and you still want to card search lock your opponent and you have a crossout in your hand, what you can do is cross out a monster from your deck which will be banished, and you could special out the Corridor from your hand, and since you activated a Thunder effect from your hand, you could go into your Colossus off of the Corridor. So that is a play. Keep in mind you guys can utilize it, and it has come up in my games quite often as well. So we cross out the Griffin, that means our search goes through, search for our pranks, we pitch our Pandemonium, special out a card on the field. My opponent's face down card turned out to be the Ice Dragon's Prison. Ice Dragon Prisons, it yoinks my pansies from the graveyard, so that way he could banish out the Doodle-Doo I had on the field as well. That means we go into our corridor, recycle the Griffin. I do not recycle my Doodle-Doo or my Fansies. I'm okay with those two cards being banished out. I would rather get my Griffin so that way if I draw into my Adventure Engine, I will be able to put the Omni Negate on the field. Now, you guys might be wondering, this guy already showed us he's playing Phantom Knights. That is absolutely correct. Phantom Knights need a lot of searches for their whole combo to go through. Again, you guys are right about that as well. But he still has the Omni, which will be turning on his turn. Also, he will have the Dracoback Bounce. So if we go into Colossus, he could just use the Dracoback Bounce, bounce the Colossus, Colossus is gone. It's an absolutely useless card to put on the field at this point. So what I decided to do was I was going to go into my Predaplan Verte Anaconda with these two cards. These two cards are effect monsters, so we can link them off to Predaplant, and I would have all three cards I require for the Butler combo in my graveyard or in my banish pile. So that way, we could use Predaplan, use Thunder Dragon Fusion, pitch it, and go into our Butler. Now, if I had another Pranks card in my hand, mind you, at this point, I would have activated Pranks, got myself a token, attached the Dracoback to the token, and bounced the opponent's Adventure token. That way, this card's threat would have been gone, and we could have gone to Colossus at that point if that situation had happened, to card search lock our opponent. But keep in mind again, if the opponent has a Forbidden Droplet, he could kill off the Colossus with the Forbidden Droplet on their turn and still do the full combo. So you have to keep all these factors in mind and then make your play off of that. So at this point, we go into Predaplan Verte Anaconda, we activate the Verte, we pitch our Thunder Dragon Fusion as I told you guys before, we recycle all our copies we need for the Butler combo, put Butler on the field, face up attack. This is still main phase 1 of turn 2, and we want to kill off the Griffin Omni on the field. Since it's negated this turn, we do not want it coming back online on our opponent's turn, because I do want to get 2 Butler pops, not 1. And also, I'm not going to be putting the Pranks on the field to recycle. Keep in mind, we only have 2 Prankets cards in the graveyard. Our Doodle-Doo did get banished, so no point putting Pranks on the field and having it sent to the graveyard or somehow banished if your opponent does run those kind of tech. So we could just save this card for our next turn. Now over here, I have to use my Butler's first pop on the opponent's draw phase or standby phase, because during main phase, the Dracoback will activate, since the priority will be on the opponent to do some activation before we could even respond with the Butler during main phase. So if he activates Dracoback and he bounces our Butler, or he targets to bounce our Butler, even if we pop our opponent's field, the bounce would still go through. So we have to use our first pop on the draw or standby phase. So opponent's draw phase, main phase comes in. Now keep in mind, I did make a misplay right here. As I told you guys, you want to use the Butler pop during main or during draw or standby phase, so this exact situation does not happen. So he activates the Dracoback, targets the Butler, to which I respond with my Butler's card Board Destruction effect. The opponent instantly chains a Forbidden Droplet to that, sending a Lightning Storm from his hand to the graveyard. Now, this means he's sending a spell, not a monster. Since our Butler is a quick effect, we could still chainlink our Butler's second pop to the Forbidden Droplet. Now this guy pitched a useless card from his hand, granted, Lightning Storm would have been useless, so he's only left with 1 card in his hand. And if this 1 card is not a combo starter card for the opponent, even after he searches for the Enchantress or whatever with this card, we are safe. As long as he does not pull a full combo, we're good. And even if he goes past 5, we still have Nip to fall back on. So Forbidden Droplet goes off on our Predaplant, we're okay with that. He activates the Faithful, search for the Enchantress, and he pitches the Enchantress. He's going to banish the Enchantress, get himself a right from his deck, and then he's going to activate it, get himself a token. Now, I don't know why he's going to do what he's about to do, and you guys will understand what I mean by that once you see the actual gameplay. He goes into battle phase, kills off my Verte. I'm okay with that. Then the card in his hand turned out to be the combo extender that they have, which is the Wielder. He uses the Wielder plus the right, goes into Dagda. Now again, this guy was running a Link Spider in his extra deck. I did check out his extra deck. He could have gone into Link Spider, could have put the Wielder on the field, and he could have gone into Predaplant, Verte, Anaconda of his own to go into DPE at that point. He instead chooses to go into Dagda. Dagda will be setting down a Scythe on my turn because he's going to see a card getting activated, which makes no sense, to be honest, because he has no way to pop that Scythe. And we, as a Prankets player, are not going to pop his back row. His back row only consists of Fateful Adventure, nothing else. There's no threat in the back row to us whatsoever. So why would I pop the Scythe since I know it's a Scythe and it's going to lock me out of my extra deck? This play makes no sense to me whatsoever. Anyways, we keep going with the play. We activate Place, search for Dropsies, we banish our Thunder Dragon Fusion, search for Corridor, recycle the Biamu, and this enables us to go into our full combo again. Now the Colossus usually turns to be an FTK against the Phantom Knights if they do not have a way to out the Colossus, so this Colossus on the field was pretty crucial, so we just went into it. Then we start going into our Link Climb, and seeing this, my opponent just outright scoops. He knows he's going to lose the game at this point anyways, so he ends up scooping. That's going to be it for today's game, guys. If you guys do enjoy this kind of videos, please consider hitting the like button, subbing to my channel for more daily Pranked video uploads. If you guys are interested in the live version of all of this, I do live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbduel. Link along with my schedule and a link to my Discord will be in the video description as well for you guys to check out. This is JPBduel signing off for today. I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace!